Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Balls Deep. Oh, my goodness, dude, my voice is thrashed because I'm a sick monkey. I got germs, but I don't care. I'm still here to bring the action to you guys. I'm here, as usual, with Anthony Scafacci. And of all the crazy things, we brought his brother onto the podcast because he's one of the best shit talkers we know, and we're all about that. So welcome, everybody, to Joe Fiorio.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Oh, keep it low energy.
You're pumping up my intro, man. You're pumping it up, so you're setting high expectations for me.
Yeah, well,
Hope
hey, thanks for coming in real low energy and dropping those expectations right back down.
No problem. Absolutely.
We try not to keep our standards too high here on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I live by the motto of under promise, over deliver. So hopefully.
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, and hey, why don't you practice real quick and just tell us like I'm really excited for this next guest to come out. Fucking guy.
Thanks.
All right, well,
Thanks
it'll
for
get going.
noticing me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe Joe's just like, you know how people are like piss shy?
You know what?
And
Well,
like they don't
yeah.
want to, at the trough urinals, like they don't want to start pissing. Maybe that's the way Joe is with content.
He's got performance anxiety.
Yeah, right, performance anxiety, exactly.
Cut me some slack, though. I've been up since 1 a.m. and we've been traveling a little bit, so I'll try
He's
to
going to finish this podcast in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I'll sort some pixie sticks for you.
Right, it's not Joe. It's just because this podcast is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just my first time, so I finished quick.
Right. So, Anthony, tell us where you are.
So me and my brother, we decided to, it was his idea, and we flew to Tampa Bay to go catch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Washington Click Commanders. And so we're going to see that game this weekend. I'm pretty excited. I've never been to the stadium, and Joe's been here a bunch of times, but we flew into Tampa this evening, and we had some pretty shitty chicken wings, but now we're back and we're ready to do this.
Yeah, the only thing that I know Tampa is known for is cigars, and I don't think either of you guys are cigar smokers.
My brother, maybe. Joe, do you smoke cigars?
Now and again. There are a couple that I like, but I wouldn't consider myself, an aficionado or anything.
All right.
I'm new to
Yeah,
it. So
in Tampa Bay, there's an area called Ybor City that's like cigar headquarters.
Yeah, I've been there.
No, right on, good stuff. Yeah, so Joe is a longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan because, he likes Tom Brady.
Well,
no, you were before that, right? You go back to like...
I do like Tom Brady, but I go back to like Eric Retton, the mid-'90s. So
yeah, there you go, like the Warren Sapp era.
Absolutely, yeah. Hardy Nickerson.
Yeah. There you go, El Dragon. Yeah, good stuff. So, and then Anthony...
I try to catch...
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I try to catch a game. I try to catch the first game of the year every year, wherever they play. Last year I took my family to Minnesota to see that stadium. It's kind of a bucket list thing of mine to try to hit every single stadium, within an 8-10 year span.
Dude, that's cool.
A couple of seasons out at other venues.
Right. Gotcha. And then Anthony has the misfortune of being a Commanders fan.
Whoa! Watch your fucking mouth,
I know.
buddy.
Yeah, I almost said an epithet.
The R word.
Yeah, a retard. We say that all the time.
Well, you're not too far off from there.
So I'll tell you guys a brief story from Anthony and my childhood. I am a Buffalo Bills fan, and we were watching the Buffalo Bills Washington Redskins Super Bowl at his house.
Oh my God!
And I had these little gumball helmets that you'd get out of the, for a quarter in the vending machine, because that's how old we are. And I bought hundreds of them trying to get a Buffalo Bills helmet, and then I finally got one. And so at the game, I brought them over and we put them on the floor in front of the TV, because when you're little kids and you're broke like back then, we had like a TV that sat on the floor, and then we sat on the floor and watched the TV. And anyway,
the good old days.
So the helmets were in front of the TV for like celebration or whatever, and the Redskins scored a touchdown, and that asshole Anthony stood up and stomped on my fucking Bills helmet.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. All these years later, if I haven't officially apologized, I'll do it now.
Yeah, I'm still pretty bitter about that.
I think you need to go find one of those helmets and give it back to him. To be honest with you,
I don't even know if you can find them anymore. They got to be somewhere.
Bro, Amazon, you'll be able to find anything.
No, I'm talking about like the vending machine, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, but they're probably not a quarter anymore.
Probably not. No, they're probably like $4.
Yeah. All right. So enough of this bullshit. Shut the fuck up. We are going to talk about college football. That's why we're here. So the first thing I want to talk about is we have an online dynasty that 3 of us are in. We've talked about it before, the Dads League, because we're really creative and original. Ours is the Al Bundy Dads League. And it's going pretty well, right? Would you guys say so?
Yeah. I mean, so far so good. We're cruising along. We go at a slower pace, like we talked about before, but things are moving. I think that it's going pretty well, and we have a pretty good group of guys. So yeah, I mean, what about you, Joe? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. I think we got some competitive teams in there. I'd like to consider myself fairly decent, and I wound up taking an L from one of these guys. So,
and a player versus player. So, Joe, what team are you using?
I'm Colorado State.
Dude.
Yeah.
For crappy teams, they're not that bad.
The powerhouse 1.5-star Colorado State Rams.
Yeah, right. I chose. I was like, what uniforms would I like, and would I like to play in some weather? So I was like, fuck, I'd like to play in some snow. And I'm partial to green, so let's go with it. And then I get to beat the shit out of Deion Sanders and jerk off on the quarterback a couple times. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned that. God damn it.
Jerking off or
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't want to say what my throat is sore with. No, but anyway, that's why I picked Hawaii, because I like their green and black uniforms, and I like the combination, like with the green shirt and the black pants.
Oh yeah, they're dope.
Yeah, but dude, this goddamn game only has black, and that's a bunch of bullshit. So if I could, I'd go back and pick again.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think they'll be coming out with some uniform patches, though. I know Colorado State got one that was like a fucking green and orange. I'm like, I've never seen this in my life, but apparently
that's weird.
I'd like to see.
Yeah, they did just release
Rainbow Warriors.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they did just release a bunch of new uniforms. Yeah. So I'm sure they're going to keep doing that as the game goes on, as they keep progressing.
I think so as well. It'll keep interest, it'll keep people playing for longer as well. I think they're just kind of dropping breadcrumbs here and there at the moment. Yeah,
well, if they don't come out with better Hawaii uniforms, I'm probably going to quit the league.
Oh, wonderful. There we fucking go. Hey, somebody, let's get a yay on this.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, save our league. And then, Anthony, what team are you using?
I am the Buffalo Bulls, UB, and the team is pretty atrocious. I've got the Legion of Gloom secondary that can't stop a runny nose. It's pretty bad. Pretty much, as long as everybody throws, I'm giving up so many points. It's pretty bad. I'm having a rough go at it right now. I think I'm 2-5.
Dude, well, if you play a human and they throw, I bet your fucking linebackers will still get interceptions like crazy.
Yeah, well, people aren't as good as the computer is at throwing the ball at this point, at least in our league. They're still behind the curve. So I feel better playing a person right now than I do playing the computer, because the computer doesn't fucking miss.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, that's been one of our complaints about the game, is that the ball never hits the ground.
No, it's like
every fucking drive.
Yeah, if the computer throws 25 times a game, they're going to complete like 21 out of 25. It's pretty rough right now.
Yeah, that it is. All right, so our online dynasty is going pretty well, and we have some tips for you guys about how to make your online dynasty successful. So, Anthony, since you're the commissioner of the league, why don't you talk about some of those things?
Well, first, you kind of have to know what you're getting yourself into. As a commissioner, you are primarily responsible for maintaining the flow of the league and communicating with the members and making sure that everybody stays engaged. A big problem, and something we're seeing on the page every single day, is people are looking for new members for their dynasty because the attrition rate is just so high. When the game came out, there were many leagues, and nobody knew exactly how many people they would allow. But it turns out it's 32, which I believe is the same as Madden. And 32 people, though, it's tough to wrangle 32 people and keep them on a 48-hour schedule or a 72-hour schedule, especially when you start to factor in player games. And so I think in order to have success, you got to be willing to start a little smaller, with maybe 8 or 12 or 14 people, because until you get into a flow, it's really hard. I mean, we struggle with we started with 16, we're down to 14 now, but we struggle just trying to get through a week because people won't do the simple things like make sure to ready up, and so that the game will auto advance as soon as everybody's ready.
Click the damn thing that says ready to advance.
Yeah, and Joe...
Even easier than that, just set it to fucking auto. You set it to
auto. And Joe is like the Gestapo of our dad's
I don't know what that
league.
is. Hold on. Joe, what is auto? What do you mean?
Like, so you could set it to if you don't want to use the rest of your minutes, you could just have it set on auto recruit, and then
yeah, I got you. But it doesn't automatically. But you still have to check that box that says ready to advance, right?
So so that's one thing I think is keep it kind of small to start. 2 is have some rules. When you take a bunch of randoms and you throw them into a league, you have all these different people with all these different ideas of what constitutes like a cheesy game or a cheesy play.
Yeah.
And, for each person, it's a little bit different. So you kind of have to have some established rules. Like, is there going to be a 4th down rule? What about using the chew clock function? How long are your quarters going to be?
Give an example of what you would refer to as a 4th down rule.
So a 4th down rule, a lot of leagues, if it's like 4th and more than, say, like 2 or 3, and you're on your own side of the field, you're forced to punt. Or if it's like between certain hash marks on the field or, yard markers, like you're forced to try to kick a field goal. And they do this because it's a video game first and foremost. And so the efficiency of completing a 4th down play is no different than a 2nd down play. The defense doesn't play any better. The offense doesn't get any more nervous. It's still just a video game. And so
that's a good point.
Except when you're playing the computer. When you're playing the computer,
exactly.
5, your team manages to drop it. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. And so what you tend to see is that players will go for it a lot on 4th down and succeed. And so
I do that. Yeah, when I'm playing just myself against a computer, that's true.
Yeah, and then so, you have these leagues where it's not like you have to play defense for 3 downs and then maybe it's 3 and out. No, it's, you're playing all 4 downs in a lot of these leagues, and that tends to upset people, and then they tend to eventually quit your league, and, you're back looking for new players. So, I say, set some rules. At least have everyone kind of have an understanding of what to expect. What about you, Joe? What do you think?
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see? You know how we could set it to where you could, there's a cooldown and you can only run 4 plays a game? There should be an option where if you have like a 4th down rule, it should automatically make you at least punt, or kick a field goal depending on... field goal would be a little bit harder, but if you're on your own side of the 50 and it's 4th and 7, there should be an option to where you could have to punt. The same way we could only call the same play 4 times in a game. Or something to that effect. It'd be easy, I think, to add that.
It might. I could see some nuances for league rules. Like if a lot of people prefer certain league restrictions, they could build them in. Like, dude, this whole thing about the play cooldowns is new, at least to me. Maybe it's been on Madden, but it certainly was not in previous versions of college football.
No, and I'm glad it's in the game now because it does force people to, not just run the same 4 or 5 plays every time. Is you actually have to, call a pretty varied playbook. And so in my opinion, it makes you work a little bit harder, makes the game a little bit more, makes it more of a chess match versus just guessing which of the 3 money plays this guy's going to run this time.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So we have our limit set at 4 times. That's the most you can call any play, offense or defense. And then what's our cooldown?
It's also 4.
Okay, so you have to do 4 plays in between calling a play a second time.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Any other rules that we have for our league that we want to talk about?
I mean, I think, it's just kind of having a general rule set and starting small. And also, I think that it's important to make sure not to...
Joe, get your microphone
What's
out
up?
of your pants.
I think it's also important
to
just
that
not
jerking
to,
off
like, be inflexible. You have to be willing sometimes to give people a little extra time, but also then, push them along. Give them a nudge here and there to get their games played, because if you give people a week, there will people that will take a week every single time. Where if you tell them it's 36 hours, they'll somehow figure out a way to get that game played. So I think, you got to find that balance.
Yeah, so we have our advance set at 1 week, and I don't think we've ever gone the full week yet, have we?
No, but we've been pretty close. We might go there. We might go a full week this week because we're out of town.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you guys are fucking slackers holding the league back.
We do plan
Yeah,
on
it's my
stealing
fault.
a
I'm sorry.
PlayStation 5. We do plan
there
on
you go.
stealing a PlayStation 5.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we thought about it, just going to Sam's Club and buying one for the weekend and then returning before we leave.
There you go. Or maybe...
I do have my PS Portal, so...
Oh, that's nice. La-di-da. Maybe when you guys are down at the, at tailgating, you'll meet a couple of nice ladies who have a PS5 in the back of their RV. You can
Yeah, and they
hook
can
up
let
on
me
that.
just sign in. Hey, I got a big game against fucking Ohio Bobcats this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, picture these 2 Florida girls like luring you into their RV and they're ready to like have sex with you, and then you guys see the PlayStation. You're like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, I ain't got time for this sex stuff. I got a big game against the Bobcats, and we're 2-5.
Well, here's the thing. I've already played my game for the week, so I'm pretty sure I could take care of it while Rich is.
Oh, there you go.
Get his ass.
Just keep it down back there while you're fucking, and I'm trying to. It's a big third down here.
Statue of Liberty.
All right, so what's our for our rules? Well, actually, I want to know, because you brought it up, and it was news to me. I knew we lost the first guy when he rage quit in the first game, and we've talked about that.
Yes.
What's the second person we lost?
It was
The second guy, I think we were just going a little too slow for him. I mean, it's the pace of once a week is not fast. And,
no, it is not.
And so I think it's hard to get motivated when if you like played then had a bye week. It could be like 2 weeks before you play again. And I think that's kind of what killed him.
Yeah, for me, you just have your own offline dynasty or play somewhere else. There's plenty of other ways to play the game.
Oh, absolutely. I started playing Road to the College Football Playoffs just for that reason, just because I got to get some games in. And they're a little quicker than my offline dynasty. So I'm juggling all 3 right now.
Oh, dude, look at that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you fucking ball juggler. Yeah. Good job, Anthony. We're proud of you. Look how far you've come.
Yeah. It's only taken me almost 50 years to get there, too. So
like a
no big
goddamn
deal.
circus clown.
Hey, so what kind of seats do you guys have for the game?
We got like 45-yard line, like 20 rows up, like the first.
Dude,
level.
that's pretty good.
They're decent seats.
Yeah,
they're not
those are
bad
good
at all.
seats.
Yeah.
They're not bad at all.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, because
we
Joe
only
was
had a mortgage.
baller.
Joe's firstborn
No, sir.
to get him, so
Yeah. But you make up for it by flying out on Spirit Airlines.
fuck yeah, we did.
Exactly.
It was only $6 to fly all the way from Vegas to Tampa.
Yeah, dude,
We had to
awesome.
pedal though.
No. Brad, like they don't have the little cart that pushes the plane away. You gotta.
We got a fucking 3-point stance it out of the fucking game. It was like you pay for your
Dude, we didn't even get fucking water on the plane. They were like, I'll let you sniff this other guy's water for $1.50.
Yeah, right.
Good times. All right, guys. I think that's going to do us for today. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have actually, because of the success of this podcast, we actually have our first sponsor. And it is...
Who is it?
Well, thank you for asking. So before I sign off, I want to give a big thank you to Baphomet, attorney at law. And, of course, you guys are all familiar with the goat demon dude, Baphomet. And let me read their copy here. We want to thank today's sponsor, Baphomet, attorney at law. If your civil rights have been trampled on, be sure to give Baphomet a call. Baphomet promises nothing but top-notch civil rights representation and is licensed in 12 states, as well as the astral plane, celestial plane, and the fourth circle of hell. For over 1,200 years, Baphomet has fought injustice in this world and the next. Call today for a free consultation. So thank you, Baphomet.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, Al, for hosting.
Yeah, you got
and thanks,
it.
Joe, for joining us.
Yeah. Hey, if we record
absolutely.
another episode, Joe, you kind of picked it up there at the end. Let's try picking it up at the beginning this time.
Fair enough. I'll do. I'll drink some coffee before the next.
There
You got to bring your fucking
Perfect.
A game here.
That's right. Get your fucking head out of your ass.
I'm going to tie a rubber band around my balls for a moment.
Dude, where was this in the beginning? Yeah. Dude. All right.
Good shit.
On that, take it easy, guys. We'll catch you next time.